Hello and welcome to day 2 of the God is a Geek Game of the Year deliberations. My name is Adam Cook and everything is... Peng! Thank you. Everyone's here from yesterday because why wouldn't they be? Because we obviously record these sequentially and one after the other. It's live, right, Chris Hyde?
Always live, always on it. Happy to be back.
The thing is, man, right, because everyone knows this is day 2, I'm not going to make us all be full screen. So do you know what? We could all just say hello at the same time and no one could stop us because you're all on screen right now.
Well,
Hello.
Oh, blimey, lads.
Wow.
Maybe we should go one at a time.
For Christmas, Father Christmas, I'd like a rope that I can tie to a... Jesus Christ. Should we try that again, lads? Everyone say hello on 3 then. 1, 2, 3. Hello!
Hello.
It's
How are you?
It's...
I feel like I'm in the fucking broom cupboard.
If you are just joining us for the first time for some reason on day 2, listen, who am I to tell you how to live your life? My name's Adam Cook. That's Chris Hyde. Next to him is Adam Carroll. Below me there is Chris White. And next to him is Mick Fraser. And then Lyle Carr in the bottom right there. Nobody puts Lyle in the corner or something. Right, Lyle?
Well, it sounds like I am in the corner.
Yeah, actually, you do look as though you are in a corner. Actually, for the
I am
record,
also
now I've
in
just
a real
realised.
corner, yeah.
You are in a corner. That's absolutely fine. Today we are talking about best audio and best visuals. So once again, there should be no spoilers today. Should be all good, all gravy, all...
Oh, no.
You got to
Peng!
Peng.
I thought you were going to say it, so I was leaving you to shout it again.
The first
So I
time
didn't
was me
realise that was
explaining
your
the
role.
joke. The second time was you all contributing to the joke.
Right.
What
Maybe
won
we
best
should have
audio?
briefed us on that.
What won best audio last year, everyone?
Death Stranding.
No, that was
The
2
Last
years
of Us.
The
ago,
Last
wasn't
of
it?
Us Part 2.
Makes me sick. It was The Last of Us Part 2, yeah. With Miles Morales, Black Ops, Cold War, Demon's Souls, and Fuser, which sort of feels like a cheat. A little bit, because it's a music game.
Well,
It's a good game,
should
that.
have good audio then, shouldn't it? If
a good
Fuser
game.
had crap
Had some
audio.
banging beats in it, though.
Yeah,
Didn't
Rick
it
Astley.
just? Didn't it
Rick Astley.
just? The
Yeah.
beats were
In the club by 50 Cent.
Oh.
Anyway,
This year we have a short list of 19 games for best audio, and they are as follows. It Takes Two, Psychonauts 2, Call of Duty Vanguard, Tales of Arise, Knockout City, Scarlet Nexus, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Deathloop, Back for Blood, Resident Evil Village, Little Nightmares 2, Death's Door, Forza Horizon 5, Life is Strange True Colors, Lost in Random, Returnal, The Artful Escape, Halo Infinite, Neo The World Ends With You. Boom. 19 of the best. Literally the best. Shame there wasn't a 20th, actually, really.
Yeah.
Feels weird having 19, but there's the 19 there. We've got to cut down to 5. Where do we start?
Can I just quickly say, before we say anything, because this might come up again, because you said this
Okay.
the other day, Adam, in the group. You said, there should be 20. Is Battlefield in here? Should it be added in here?
If it does anything okay, it's the audio.
What a compliment that is. If it does
a pretty
anything well.
But I'm just seeing Vanguards in there, and I'm kind of like, well, there we go. That's a reminder of
Call
Battlefield.
of Duty always brings the audio, though. I mean that.
But is Battlefield's audio not YouTubers screaming at each other?
Well, yeah, it's kind of just explosions, and I mean, there's not really anything to it. It's got no
So,
substance.
so just to be clear,
So are
you're
we adding
suggesting
this?
we add it and remove it.
Oh, we just-
Is
it just cut
Right,
down?
hang on. No, okay, so in 20th
become
place,
19.
Battlefield 2042, which I am now going to cut immediately.
Can I suggest a cut?
Okay.
Yeah, but is it
Okay,
Battlefield?
there we go. All
We're
right.
making great progress, lads. Well done.
Okay, we are
That's one
down.
down already.
Yeah, we're one
Yeah.
down
Already
after
faster
going
than
one
last
up.
time.
Yeah. Okay.
Superb.
Right. Where do we start? Like, so shall I just jump in with a brutal one and see where we sit and see how people
right.
take this? This is a brutal one, and I want to stress very clearly that I love this game and think it's a wonderful game. This category is best audio, and I am just going to say, Death's Door.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Well, that's. I was hoping
Yeah.
for a little bit more than.
No.
A bit of controversy,
Say something
perhaps.
else. I was panicking and sweating that you're going to cut something else in there. But I
Really?
there's other things that make Death's Door amazing.
Yes, it's
I
a
would argue
brilliant
the
game.
audio is not.
The audio is good. These games
I
have
think
all been
the soundtrack
suggested.
is nice, man.
Yeah, but it's
Top 5
compared
nice?
to some of the other stuff on this list.
And once again, just if you are watching the video version, Adam is not looking
Oh,
wistfully
yeah,
out of a window. He is looking at the shortlist. Just to be
My
clear.
list is over here.
Yeah, it's fine.
So
I just want to make sure
apologise.
people know that you're just like
Yeah. Get that started. Why is he always looking over there?
the window's
yeah.
really interesting.
Watching Bake Off.
Death's Door.
Yeah.
I don't know, lads. I wouldn't yet. I know.
Okay.
I just wouldn't yet.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
I've highlighted Deathleap when I meant to highlight Death's Door anyway. So
That you did.
If you don't want to just get rid of that so quickly,
Okay.
can I offer up a different one?
that's what we're here for, mate. You can offer anything you like.
Little
Wait.
Nightmares 2?
I kind of assumed you put it on the list.
No. I assume Chris did.
No.
Then it must have been me. for
Did
some
I?
reason. It was a while. This list has been populated throughout the years.
Yeah,
so
I didn't put it on this list. I put it on the other list, but not this one.
Yeah.
Oh, spoilers.
It's not terrible audio, but
No,
I'd
we
say
can
there's
we can
other
we can
areas
clear
of
this up
strength.
right now and say none of the games we're mentioning are here because they're terrible. Every game on this list is a consideration, but there can only be 5.
This is not top 5 material.
No.
Little
No,
Nightmares 2 is not
I
top
think
5.
that's fair. Yeah, I'd agree. I do love the sounds that go on. It really
Yeah.
adds to like the atmosphere a lot. Like
Some of the stuff with the TVs and that.
Yeah,
that's
but I
really
think
good.
I think
But-
some of what it does best with its audio is not having audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those. It's a bit like the kind of. I mean, it's not like Breath of the Wild, but it's that thing where they pull away
Ambience.
the ambience.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ambient
Yeah.
sounds. And it does it well, and that's not saying
Very
again.
well.
It's in a 19, so
It beat Battlefield, so
it beat a lot.
I mean, that's-
There was a lot of games released this year.
yeah.
Okay.
It beat Hitman 2, which 3 even, which isn't on the list. Well, I mean, which is fair enough, but you know. So are we deleting Little Nightmares 2?
I agree.
Sure.
Chris, why?
Cut its nuts off.
Right away, sir.
Snip 'em good.
Where's next? Where are we next?
Oh, Mike. So, as much as I love Back for Blood, right?
Oh,
and the
interesting.
audio is the audio is as the amp, it does lack some of the cool little nuances that Left 4 Dead had in its audio. Like
In
those
quite a
little
few
audio
ways, some would say.
cues. Quiet. It's the best 7 out
Need
of
to
10.
leave
you've ever
past discussions in the past.
I mean, I just think that it's not bad, but a lot of its sound effects are just.
So can I explain why I think it's on this list to begin with, and then we perhaps can cut it? I think it's on this list because of the barroom scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's the best moment, not
Yeah.
best
Yeah, I think-
audio.
which will come up later.
Which
yeah.
will
No,
come up
fair.
and will have its dues. And I'm not going to spoil any further than that, but I think this is on here. I think the audio is good. Like, the
Yeah.
situational
Yeah, it
audio is good. But I also think if it
But I
didn't
think
have that, it doesn't stand out because of that. Because if it didn't have that,
Yeah.
you would have a lot more problems than someone like Lyle, for example, who doesn't particularly care for it, has already with it. Like, if it didn't have half-decent situational audio and call-outs from the AI, if you're playing with AI, like, it would be real. It would
I mean,
be
it's
bad.
good. I just don't think it's top 5 good, and it's
No,
an
it's
easy
not.
one for me to suggest a cut.
Anyone else want to keep it on there?
No.
Nope.
No? Okay.
Nope.
Can I suggest one?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, go for it. Just shout.
Halo Infinite.
Okay. Right. Why? Where do you want to cut that?
No, I'm going solely off of just my multiplayer experience. I don't think there's anything to really talk about. There really isn't.
So in the single player, I don't. I think it does everything well. I will say, it does this thing that I don't. You do see from time to time, but not often, where collectibles have like a unique audio. So, for example, I don't know if you guys know this, and hey, I may as well bring this into it now while we're talking about Forza Horizon 5. When you get near one of the billboards,
I
it's got
noticed
like
when you told me, and then I
noticed
stop
because I saw
hearing
it on Reddit. Like, there is a mariachi band playing like
Yeah.
in the background, and it gets louder as you approach a billboard, right? To indicate there's a billboard nearby. You can hear it. Halo does that with every different collectible in the game. So that if you are near something, so for example, there was the moment I really realised, it actually was a chance to test how situational it was, is it was making this noise which I knew was a certain type of collectible. And I was like, well, it's not here. But I could see something glowing on a rock within eye line, and as I got closer to it, the audio became louder, and and games have been doing this for a very long time. Like, Christ, I always think of Infamous doing it with shards. you know, or Crackdown with orbs. Like Crackdown on 360 was amazing at the time for the orb noises. It also does this thing where, and I'm happy to cut it if you guys are, but I do want to give it its due for also so that the grapple in that game is one of the big parts of that game. You can switch your tools out, but I found myself with the grapple a lot, and visually it's like the multiplayer and the single player. They're busy games. Like the UI is there, but you can't really spend too much time looking at it or you're dead. Halo's always been like that. There's a very small, subtle sound that fires off when that grapple is ready to fire again. So you don't need to look at the cooldown. You hear it. You know, okay, I can grapple again. And the thing is, because it's upgradable, you can actually reduce the cooldown. There's never a case of, oh, hang on, it's 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay, it was 6 seconds. You just hear the noise and you know I can grapple again. And that almost gives you this natural feeling of, I know now. It's almost like it becomes real. Like I can grapple again because I know how long it takes because of that noise. So while I think it's fine to cut it, I do think they do, the voice acting's great. It's just a very, very well designed game in terms of audio, but I'm happy to cut it if you guys are.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
Do the electric guitars return?
In terms of what? In terms of the
just when like in the first one when you
oh,
I can't remember what level it is, but the electric guitars basically start playing the theme and it's fucking amazing.
All I'll say is the music doesn't let you down.
Yeah.
Usually when stuff starts exploding,
yeah,
Halo theme comes on, it's like
Okay, I've got a cut here that Chris White's going to be very upset about, but
I don't think I am.
Okay, but I've got an argument that you can't deny, and the cut is The Artful Escape.
Okay, no, I thought you were going to go for something else.
I thought you were going to go for number 16.
I put this on this list obviously because I reviewed it and I love the audio and I feel it's one of those games where we put it on a list just so we can mention it because I don't compared to other games on this list, like there's other games like Forza do audio so much better, but it's the way it uses its gameplay with the audio. Now I really enjoyed the game. I know you weren't a huge fan of it.
No, well, I don't dislike it. I think it's quite a nice game.
It incorporates the fact that you have to play it's like a rhythm game where you're playing your guitar, and then there's certain Guitar Hero-y moments with it. But I just really like the music. The songs are really good in it, and
I actually agree with everything you're saying. The reason I want to cut it is because I don't think they do certain bits very well. Now, I think I want to say, did you play it on PC?
Xbox.
You did play it on Xbox. Okay. Okay, well maybe it's been patched. I played it way later than you, but there's certain transitions where the music would cut, and I noticed one of them. So it's just going to be a bit nerdy, but I can only speak truthfully. I know Adam has. Is anybody else here? I know that Chris plays guitar. Chris White. Have you ever had any experience with a looper pedal?
Yes.
Okay, so have you ever? But you've all heard a looper pedal, right? You've heard Ed Sheeran on something or another. He uses looper pedals. Now, the key to a looper pedal isn't necessarily being a good guitarist. It's having good rhythm because it's being able to stop the loop pedal at the moment so that loop continues and sounds natural. Doesn't sound like someone starting a loop each time. Okay, so if you're starting on a G and you end on a G, it needs to be stamped on the loop pedal at the exact moment the transition's happening, so that the structure, it just sounds like someone is continuously playing that rhythm, right? In this, I can hear the loop cuts, and I don't mean in a way of like, oh, that's a bit amateur. I don't know if it's a bug, but I could hear the loop cuts on one of the acoustic tracks like so severely. It's like, is this because it's loading for too long? But it was really jarring. I was like, wow, this game's all about the music, and I'm really surprised to see this here, because while I don't sit here being like, well, I am the best guitarist in the world, I can do better than that with a loop pedal, and I was quite surprised, because the guitar playing is very proficient, and it's awesome, the lead guitar playing, but that particular bit, and like, it's really nitpicky, and I know it is, but this is best audio.
No, I get it. It kind of props to the voice acting as well, because
yes, voice acting's fine. Yeah,
it's got Carl Weathers in it.
Is this the one with Elijah Wood in it, or have I imagined that?
No, it's not Elijah Wood. It sounds a bit like Elijah Wood or Tom Holland.
Okay, maybe I imagined.
But it's got Carl Weathers,
yes.
Apollo Creed, and
the audio is great generally, but it just feels I don't know.
No, I just really like what they did. I know what you mean, because like even when you know like the rhythm sections when you're playing along, it does kind of cut quite.
It doesn't feel quite tight,
abrasively.
like it
yeah,
could.
it's quite. Yeah.
Again, and I like those bits, and I like the game. I'm like, there's nothing. Like, it sounds like I know it sounds really harsh, but we are talking about the best audio.
Yeah.
And I think if a game is like all audio, like that.
Well, that's what it focuses on, isn't it?
Yeah, and it doesn't make it a bad game.
Oh God, no.
But I think you're the only other person who's played it. I think Lyle might have.
Yeah, I played a little bit.
Yeah. But
I mean, it was pretty good. But
okay.
Yeah, I mean,
if we want to keep it, it's just
No, I'm happy to cut it.
Okay.
I just really enjoyed the audio and thought it deserved to be on the list.
Fair play. Someone else can cut one now because I've been harsh enough. It's someone else's turn. We've still got 15, so we've got 10.
I wasn't too fond. Not fond. I didn't think much of Knockout City in terms of the audio.
Yeah. I wondered when we were going to get to that.
Yeah,
I wondered when we were going to get to that.
It definitely has. It does exactly what it says in the tin for what it is. But I didn't walk away from that going, "Oh, that ball and that smacks off those boys is woo." I ain't thinking of that, like, you know. But it does exactly, like, there's not much to say. Do you know what I mean? I know that's not a harsh thing. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Unless someone else feels passionate about it.
I genuinely love that video game.
It's a really, really, really fun game.
I think, and this is probably going to come up a lot for me this deliberations this year. I feel like I have moved from being someone who loves story-driven games to someone who, as I get older, I just want fun. Mm-hmm. And I think Knockout City delivers that in absolute spades. But this is best audio, and like, while the audio's absolutely fine, like, I really think the audio's pretty good. Like, the sound of the dodgeball hitting that thwack, is terrific.
Yeah.
But if I'm honest, some of the narrator stuff, like the "Hey everybody, it's Valen City" kind of stuff, is like kind of I could do without. And again,
but you're never truly. You're never like, oh, it doesn't.
No. It never annoys me because it's like it's not overdone. If it was, I don't know. If it was like, you know, in like Halo, where it's like Slayer every 5 seconds or double kill. If they were doing that in Knockout City, you would be like, it's too much. Nothing against the voice actor, just like it's not my.
It's not something that stays with you. I don't think. Like,
no,
particularly.
So I'm happy to cut that, but I know that Chris is a big fan of that. Both Chris's. So before, you know, if Adam wants to cut it, I'm happy to cut that.
I'm happy to cut it because I feel like the redeeming qualities for Knockout City are
elsewhere.
So I think, it's fine to go.
I don't think about it and think, oh my God, the audio is the best thing about it.
No, definitely not.
I've got a controversial one.
Okay.
Go on.
Which I really like, and the audio is half really good and half really, really annoying. It's Tales of Arise. Because I know that, like, a couple of guys here are going to jump all over.
No, it's funny you say that.
It's got some bits like
you're talking about the combat. You're talking about the combat when they all start shouting at the same time.
Just repeatedly shout the same shit.
I didn't notice it till playing it last night.
The voice acting is okay for.
The voice acting is good for a JRPG.
The main character overacts almost every fucking line he speaks. It's really, really irritating. And I really like the music. I really like the general.
It's a little repetitive, the music.
But I kind of feel like for best audio, I mean, Tales of Arise is fantastic. I'm really enjoying it. It's a great game. I don't think it's got the best.
It's similar
audio
to Knockout City for me in that I think its qualities are better spent elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because
I know, I mentioned it before, and a bunch of people bit my head off. But I don't think for audio, I don't think it's the cream of the crop. That's my opinion.
So I don't disagree with what you've just said. I feel like there's an element to JRPGs where you always get that combat repetitiveness.
This does
make that okay, though.
No, it's not. It's not so much that. It's that this does it in.
But
you know, when you do like a move to finish a battle off, and it's like spinning flare flash or whatever, and they're all like going in the background, and you're like, it's only a little rump fight.
I feel like because it does it almost every time you press the input. After a while, it's just
it gets away with that because you love doing it still. It gets away with it because that is still satisfying.
And there is plenty of them, I suppose. But I think what I will say, I'm not I don't think it makes the top 5. I'm a bit annoyed things like Death's Door are still on there, but this one's getting cut. But I get it. But it's what I will say that I think the voice acting. I think the voice acting is probably stronger than games like Scarlet Nexus, because I think that.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I think the dialogue of the characters and the interactions are probably more believable for the long haul in that game than in Scarlet Nexus.
I will say that I think Scarlet Nexus is going for a very different vibe. Scarlet Nexus is pure JRPG anime, whereas I don't think Tales of Arise is going for the anime-ness.
No, but there are plenty of skits and stuff. What I'm talking about is there's interactions between characters, and not a lot of them. That sounds really harsh, actually. But a few of them in Scarlet Nexus, for me, felt a bit bland. Not all of them. Some of them are really good.
I would also argue that is one of the very few negatives overall with Tales. There is, like, the press R1 for the interstitial stuff. There is a lot of them sometimes, and it's like
there is. I mean, there's a lot of them.
I get it.
In most Tales games, it is what they do in a Tales game.
Okay, so
if you don't like it, then that is one of those things that you're like, you're not going to enjoy it. If you don't like skits, you're not going to enjoy it. This isn't going to be the game.
I don't mind them. It's when it gives you 2 or 3 on the trot, and you're like, if you wanted to give me all this exposition, why didn't you give me this exposition in the cutscene you just showed me? Because you've given me a cutscene, you've let me walk out of a door, and now I've got 3 not cutscenes. Yeah, and I just want to get back to that combat.
But like I say, I'm not saying you're not going to fight for it to be in the top 5, because there are really good audio games on this list. But
I would say let's not get too hung up on it going before something else, because I noticed that on day one we mustn't. Like, it is a top 5. Every other game on this list is joint 6th. Like, you know what I mean? Like they are all. We're not cutting in any particular order, because it's always going to be. Yeah. Well, I'm not as big of a fan, so I'm going to cut that one. But I take your point about Scarlet Nexus as well. I think both are going to get a lot of discussion this year.
Both will get a lot of discussion later.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I think the audio in Scarlet Nexus is great. I love the soundtrack of Scarlet Nexus. I will say that.
I'm struggling to sort of pull anything.
From it wouldn't. Again, the audio in Scarlet Nexus would not be the first 1 or 2 things I'm thinking why I really love that game. Top 3 things. The audio is not going to be on there. It's really strong in other areas.
I think we have to cut unless we hear otherwise from people. Death's Door, Tales of Arise, Scarlet Nexus, all 3, because no one is saying that they should stay really at the moment.
I would.
I mean, Adam, you've said you want to keep Death's Door, but
I was just for discussion. Like, if I'm going to pick with those 3, I'd be cutting Death's Door.
Yeah.
I just think Death's Door's music is really, really nice. It's really nice.
I'd argue better than the other 2 actually on the list that we're talking about.
Like it's one of those things. But
musically,
that's the only thing really in Death's Door that I could say with audio that stands out for me. There's just it's Scarlet and Tales. Then it's just they're very different. They deliver a very different set of characters, and the tones are different. But for now, I'd be cutting Death's Door if we're going to cut something.
Well, we nearly cut it, and I think you were the one who saved it, so I'm going to cut Death's Door unless I hear otherwise. I'm going to cut Tales of Arise unless anyone is going to fight for it now.
I don't think it makes it. I think if I'm honest with myself, it's not top 5. So I think it goes.
Adam,
just listen to sometimes.
I love the audio in it.
If you two are both wanting to keep it,
love the audio in that game, but I don't think.
Can we keep it for just a few minutes?
Okay, well, let's move on to Scarlet Nexus, which is right below it on the list. I thought I saw Chris White shaking his head.
Well, I'm keeping it for now then if Tales is staying, because I think throughout that story is excellent.
Okay.
And it's the same as saying, well, if people praise Persona, but the audio in that is very similar. Like the acting's very similar. It's not just the voice acting in the cutscenes where the audio shines. It's throughout. It's the combat. It's the sound effects for the multiple creatures you have to battle.
But I think that's what lets Tales down. But
we're not talking about Tales.
No, rather than
I get it.
Scarlet Nexus.
It's not.
I'd agree with that, but
it's not top 5 for the audio. No, it not on this list. But it will eventually get cut, so I would say we just cut them now to avoid.
This is where I'm at with Tales. But if Adam and Chris are both saying,
I'm just wondering. I don't want to like Scarlet and Tails. I have my love for both of them in this category. Even can we just move to Lost and Random?
I was going to bring up
the
Lost
very
and
next
Random.
game I was going to mention.
Yeah.
That's no place on this list. I don't think
that's not anywhere near the same standard as in terms of audio.
That's what I
The
mean,
audio is good. I think the audio in combination with the visuals does a really good job of setting the tone in that game for the various different areas you go through, and some of the voice acting of the main character even is good, but it's not in anywhere near the same level that we're talking about for some of these other games. So that's an easy cut for me.
Yeah.
I'm happy to cut Lost and Random if everyone else is happy to cut Lost and Random.
See, I'd rather do this kind of thing.
No, that's fine. I mean, Chris White reviewed it, so I just want to be sure.
No, I'm happy to cut it. The audio did not do out for me.
One that's sort of there's a few we haven't mentioned yet. Yeah. And there's one that I feel like Chris White was ready to go straight away, and there's another one I'm not sure where we are on it this year. So I'm just going to say both of these at the same time, and we can say if they're both cuts or however anyone feels about them. Call of Duty Vanguard and Neo: The World Ends with You.
I put Neo on there.
I've played neither of these this year, which is a first. So
because I really like the music. I really quite like the voice acting. And I really like the way the music is used in the combat in Neo, which I thought I really like that. It's not a rhythm game, but like in order to hit...
Feels like it sometimes.
Yeah, in order to hit like the bonus damage and things like that, you have to hit it on the beat. So you'll be just spamming attacks, and the other two characters in your party will be spamming attacks, and then...
See, I feel like we've gone into some sort of bizarro world here where Mick Fraser has played Neo: The World Ends with You, and neither myself, Chris Hyde, Adam Carroll, or Lyle, I believe, has played this game. I feel like we entered some sort of Twilight Zone.
I really
it's on the list.
Like I know it is, and I really feel like...
No, my list, I mean.
I think it's just been overlooked by a lot of people this year in a lot of ways because of probably what it is. But I think Chris will agree. It's really, really good. And it was surprising how good it is. And it's surprising how integral the audio is. It's going to be
overlooked because people keep saying it's been a quiet year when it's been anything but.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you guys... it's hard to argue it when four of us haven't played it. I know that. But to give it its due... The audio is so integral to it, and it plays such a big part. I mean, the running around music gets a little bit repetitive. It's kind of like Persona in that way, where it's got the same... Is it Persona 4 where it's got that same theme that just runs all the time? And well, yeah, but
if you could just say down with this sort of thing after that, we'd have the Father Ted quota done for this year. That would be marvellous.
You know, when you've just got one, it doesn't matter what game it is, when you've got one piece of music that's kind of just on loop for 15, 12, 20 hours, it does get a little bit much.
You say that, but that battle-winning theme of Persona 5 I could listen to for a 40-hour game. That when that organ comes in, it's so cool.
Oh, so good.
That organ. But yeah, so...
I used to let that play out a little bit longer. You could press X to finish that, but I would wait just to get a little bit of that organ, the electric piano, to kick in. And Persona 5's not even out this year.
A little bit, and you want more. It's when it just plays the same. In 25 seconds.
What I will say, Mick, regarding for me anyway, the problem I would have been I wanted to be all over Neo, straight away. But when I looked into it. I've never played the first game, and apparently it was one of those games that you...
Doesn't matter.
I never felt like you needed it.
Yeah.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
So I have played the first one, and I couldn't remember it, so...
It's the same kind of concept, but you don't...
It does a good job with its exposition. It explains everything really quickly at the beginning, and then it's just into it.
So are we cutting or keeping? Because it sort of sounds like you're saying both.
Oh no! You asked for our opinion, and
but Mick sounds like he wants to keep it and cut it.
I'd like to keep it, but I can't. It's difficult to fight for a game that.
But I think we keep it and then go through the others because I feel
two people
like
have played it's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, I think
if you and Chris say it stays, the whole point is we all value our opinions.
The audio is very strong in it.
Okay. Yeah, it does very well.
Call of Duty, yeah. You and Mick again. I think. Oh, Chris Hyde's played the multiplayer.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Call of Duty is Call of Duty. Like I said, it's got
and
good
he's just there with a box quote yet again.
Yeah. They do.
Big phrase. It
just keeps coming out of them.
Call of Duty has fantastic audio every time. It does, and
you'd fucking hope so. Not being funny.
Well, yeah, the production values of those games. I mean, but the voice acting is fucking so good. in that game. I will just give it its props for that. I think the voice acting in Call of Duty Vanguard is fucking phenomenal.
I feel like Call of Duty's hitting the land of diminishing returns here because it should be a game that every year is in every category, and it's slowly not. It's not because
people don't give a shit as much.
No,
anymore.
well, people do because it still sells and it's got a massive multiplayer base. But it's like, for me, best audio, there has to be something where I'm like, yeah, and I will remember this because of that audio being that good. And I can name moments on other games on this list, whereas with Call of Duty, I haven't been able to do that for years because, as you say quite rightly, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's good.
It's not exciting.
It's got solid audio direction. You know,
but again, I would expect no less from a game with that much money spent on it.
You won't walk away from it thinking of any particular.
But
apart from, like I said, the voice acting is some of it's phenomenal.
But again, like Chris White, you played the single player as well. I don't know if you finished it or not, but
yeah, I did.
I feel
I will say, though, sorry.
Right,
what I will say is, there's a moment early on in the campaign,
made him sad
Chris
now.
will know, where you are trying to get there's a level in I'm trying to think now. I can't fucking think.
Stalingrad.
Poland, Stalingrad. Yeah, where you're trying to get from you're the what's her name?
Polina Petrova.
Yeah.
It does sound memorable, Mick. I will admit.
Sorry, you've got to get from. You've got to get from you go to a military base where everyone's shipping out, and then they start to blitz the city, and you've got to run across the rooftops. It's like parkour.
Oh yeah.
And you've got to get back to reach your father because they're bombing the city. That moment when I was playing with headphones on, I know it's just explosions and screaming and shouting and sirens, but that I don't think I've been as immersed in a level of a game. This year as I was in that.
The only thing I would say is right now we have got Call of Duty Vanguard, Tales of Arise, Scarlet Nexus, Neo The World Ends With You that we're not cutting, and that's 4 of our 5.
Well, cut it. I'm just giving it its props.
Well, that was easy. I didn't know.
It deserves a mention. I mean, that level alone.
Just call his bluff and he cuts everything. It's great.
It should just have gone, shouldn't I? Straight away delete. Chris, are you
wait till
happy?
I get to a category I give 2 shits.
Well, see, this is when I do care about best audio. Chris White.
Yeah, no.
Call of Duty Vanguard. Okay, fair enough.
Can I throw a controversial one? To be honest, it's getting to that stage now. Where
we're down to 11.
It's getting controversial.
Oh, you're not going to say. Go on.
I just want to know: is it too obvious? If it is up there in top 5, then I'm fine with that.
I am on the edge of my seat.
I know. I don't know what he's going to say.
Are we standing by strongly with Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, that's less controversial than I was expecting.
I don't know, because at the end of the day, right, what that goes for, they could not mess up.
I disagree. So I have to recuse myself a little bit from this.
It couldn't be average. It had to be. Guardians is about the 80s. It's about the music. It's all those kind of beats.
See, I interviewed these. I interviewed the composers and the lead audio designer, director, I can't remember as well now, for a freelance job for NME. And I wouldn't have known the information I'm going to give, and had I not been doing that, if that makes sense. So there are 3 separate soundtracks for that game. One is licensed music, the 80s stuff. You still have to get that cleared. You still have to get the right picks. Okay. One is the entirely new album that was actually done by the lead audio guy, which is like the 80s sounding, the band that's called Star-Lord.
Star-Lord, yeah.
And then the third one is the orchestral arrangement and the OST. And the design that's gone into blending the 3 together so that you can weave in and out from orchestral into like a Star-Lord track, or then in terms of how composition, key-wise, tempos, and the way they had to weave in and out of the music alone, let alone how I genuinely loved all the... and also, I said it on the podcast, I think Gamora's voice acting is the best voice acting of the year.
No, that's the thing. I would consider, to be honest, the audio my favourite part of this game.
Audio or story for me, yeah.
I think the voice acting is great. It's all in, but I went into it going, this has to be this. It can't be.
But you
less.
say that, but they didn't manage that with Marvel's Avengers at all. I couldn't name you anything about Marvel's Avengers that was memorable audio-wise. And I know that's not a this year game, but Guardians of the Galaxy, like I say, Gamora's voice acting alone, I thought Drax really did a good job. In fact, I think it was such a strong cast that the one character I didn't like very much was Rocket, and nobody disliked Rocket, like in the movies and stuff. Well, there you go. But do you know what I mean? The fact that they made him the one I didn't like, and he has his own redemption. I think that is one I feel really strongly about for a top 5 for audio. Personally speaking,
top 5 is cool. I'd probably be right there with you if this was my first ever experience with Guardians. I'd be like, this is amazing, all this kind of stuff. But knowing the movies and all that jazz, I'm like, this is what it is. So I'm not holding on to it with such love.
No, but to be fair, they had to go such a tightrope by their voice acting alone because people can be put off so quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
That doesn't sound like Star-Lord. I would really strongly feel to keep that. If that's going to get a shout in any category, for me, that has to be in top 5 at the moment. Okay. I really do think the audio's. And I don't know, Chris White, you played it. But I get the feeling you would be there with me.
I think it's like you. I'm not going to repeat what you've said, but like I completely agree with it. And I also think like the moments where after you huddle together, and you have a little chat, and then if the right song plays after that huddle, you start blowing up a load of guys. Like I was like killing a load of people to Wake Me Up Before You Go by Wham. Like what game have I ever done that in? And they're like Europe Final Countdown.
Yep.
Like that soundtrack is great. Star-Lord, the band, it encapsulates what Star-Lord, the character, is. Like he's not just named himself after the band. The music, it's weird. It's so well written for the game. Job. It just matches it all, and it all kind of synergizes to make one fantastic audio experience.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, takes 2, right? Sorry. I'm going in on it. I'm not going in on it. I want to know why would this be in the top 5 for audio?
Or because of the audio? Because
there's some great audio.
Thank you, Mick. You take it away. Because I'm going to wax about this game, so you take it away.
It's little bits in It Takes Two that I know.
Yes,
so
Mick.
Little bits like there's that level near the beginning where one of you's got a hammer and one of you's got the nails, and when you throw the nail into attack and then you whistle it back. It's those little. There's so many.
Going into the Hoovers. Going into the Hoovers. Yes. Chris, remember?
Yeah.
Chris, remember going into the Hoovers? That audio, the way it.
Sounds like you
How dare you? How dare you?
I was hoping that you were going to talk about It Takes Two towards the end because it's so good.
The touches,
like the voice acting is can be a little bit iffy during
it's fine.
During the
it's not. That's not the thing that.
The book fucking really irritated me.
Oh, see, I love Dr. Hakim.
No,
how dare you?
Another time.
I'm with Mick on that one.
For the audio, for the little audio cues and the little incidental noises and the stuff like when you're going through the wasp's net, I think.
I tell you another one. I can name another one. In fact, I can name another one that Chris White will know, and Chris Hyde will know because I mentioned it both times because I've played it with 3 people on this podcast. You know, in that same level with the boss fight with the Hoover, there's those little what are those things called? Roomba. And when you jump on the Roomba, it goes, and that's that's the only that sound effect is never used again. Yeah, and it's barely heard. If you're talking to your mates, you might not even hear it, but there's just this little noise where
I love the little twinkle when Dr. Hakim appears as well.
Yep. The little
completely unnecessary, but it's just there every time. I just think it's it's like the understated sort of little flourishes in that game.
And let's not forget. Sorry, no, but like the music level in general.
My God, the music level. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Chris White's just trolled the whole podcast and knew exactly what he was doing. But that music level. I was thinking about that level the other day.
I was just asking
when it really rises.
I'm worried that we're banking loads.
Right, cut
Neo.
Cut Nexus, Arise.
Christ. Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
Are we sure?
And Neo.
Yeah. It's
okay.
And
then go on, Lyle. Sorry. Hang on.
I was going to say I'm fine cutting those 3 because I think that Persona 5 Strikers that isn't on the list is better than all 3 of them, and I regret not putting it on the list. But I think it's a little late now.
We can't add any more of this.
But
I can add and delete. But
we'll pretend that's fine.
No one's mentioned Deathloop. No one's mentioned Resident Evil, Forza, or Life is Strange. In fact, no one's mentioned the bottom 5
or Psychonauts 2.
Oh, in fact, yeah.
I was going to
haven't played
mention
Resi, but
I was going to mention Resi next because I don't really remember the audio.
Well, I was going to say Resi's worth a mention just because I think it does everything pretty well, but I will say I can't, and I would be breaking my own argument here. I don't think it's particularly memorable audio-wise. I can't. I mean, all I can think of is I think of Lady Dimitrescu like going Ethan Winters. I mean, I'm not going to do the impression because I can't. But
It does the audio in the kind of ambience, the horror, like the
opening in the dark is brilliant.
And the house, the horror
and the baby.
Yeah, that is
baby.
Good.
When you hear that, you're like,
do you think it's exceptional though, or do you think that's what?
No, and I think this is why it's going to get cut.
All right, okay.
But I think there are highlights in that game of audio, but it's not.
I think on a list of 8, that's probably quite an easy one to cut, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm looking at the others.
I would also, as fucking incredible as this game is.
Oh, go on.
God.
There's 2 or 3. I think
I was going to say one's going to really annoy Adam Carroll.
No,
so
I'm not going to do it.
Let him do it.
he's going to do Deathloop, isn't he?
I'm going to do Deathloop.
Oh,
that's also another thing.
Right? The game is easy.
Chef's
will
kiss.
be in the list at the end, right?
No,
yes.
What's it now? Salt Bay. I don't know what we're doing.
Salt Bay.
Monkey jizz.
That's the one. That's it.
But, like the audio, like I can't even remember it.
It's
not
very
like
much.
What?
No, but it's not like something that stood out. Like I'm not slagging it off because it's.
I know that, but that's
the
tell me
voice
why it
acting.
should be in the top 5. Though.
The voice acting is good.
Terrific.
the voice acting.
It's great.
It's
Voice
really
acting,
good.
the jazz fusion soundtrack when it kicks
The
off.
soundtrack
is
went,
wild.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is so much fun, right? But the voice acting is so unbelievably
It is
genius.
very good.
Like every time you
When she comes through the
and cold and
Yeah,
Julianne comes out and goes,
the
"You thought you were gonna get-"
conversations
and
are great.
when
And-
Julianne comes through the controller, and it's like
it's quite
makes me jump
quite
every
it's
time.
quite
I'm
filmic
like,
TV drama type.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel gamey. It feels quite
Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest.
But then the voice acting in Vanguard's incredible, but like I'm looking at it as a whole, like there's not a lot else that kind of maybe.
I think
I think
Deathloop
there's
as
more going
well.
on in
Deathloop is like Marvel's in that it goes for almost an audio aesthetic. It goes for a style,
yeah,
and it nails it.
Yeah,
I feel it all the way through. Like I think I agree with Adam for a change. Mr. Carroll, I never agree with Adam.
I think
Carroll.
I'm with him too.
I think I do agree with Adam that maybe that I know we're down to 7 of 5, but
Yeah,
I'd want to hear about.
Cut Life is Strange then.
That's what I'd want to hear about next.
Yeah.
because I haven't played that.
Yeah.
so I wonder
No,
why
me
the
neither.
audio is.
So
Apart from
all
the voice
I'll
Shit
say
game,
like,
innit, Adam Carroll?
don't get me started now.
4
right?
on the same page, you wanker.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
This podcast used to be so much nicer.
I'm not going to bang over this. But Life is Strange is obviously like with its audio, it's very important. The soundtrack is great, and I think the voice acting is excellent. Aside from that, there's nothing else. I think it's
Wait,
as I said,
sorry,
great
hang on.
voice
Did
acting.
what game are we talking
Audio
about?
wise, he means there's nothing else.
Life is Strange.
Sorry, I heard what you were saying. I was like, what's he talking about? It can't be that game he
Life is
loves
Strange
with all of his heart.
This is where I'd be like, it's impossible to keep it on the list for people who haven't played it because of the soundtrack is it's a load of Phoebe Bridgers, Bonobo, all these people,
Which is
and it's
good.
great.
Leon.
Yeah, and it's amazing in the game, and the voice acting is outstanding. But there's nothing really else that's like I can convince. Like
Wow.
I think it's there. Yeah, I would be
You need
there.
some reading glasses there, Grandad.
You look at it and you go, like, do you know this thing? You look at the fucking list and you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit. Do I
There's two.
I think it's.
There's 2 games here. I think it could go. It could go over.
5 seconds of audio. We need that on repeat.
I'm having a bit of I'm having a meltdown with regarding the toss-up between Life is Strange, Psychonauts 2, and Guardians of the Galaxy.
But before we cut, because it sounds like Life is Strange is on life support here, right? But I'm going to help you, Adam Carroll. for the second time and hope that it gets stitched up later on again.
You're just going to put Death Stranding in.
Yeah. We haven't mentioned a game on this list that I personally think is a 10 out of 10 game. God as a Geek gave a 10 out of 10 to, but nobody has mentioned the audio being best audio for Forza Horizon 5. And what I would say is, while yes, the soundtrack is cracking because you can go between things, blah, 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 the audio, a lot of it, they have changed slightly and improved. Some people say improved, some people say the other way on the engine noises. A lot of people have said they're not that keen on some of the voiceover work. And it depends on what we as a 6 people here think.
Oh, I think the voiceover work is great. I think the radio commentary, I think...
No, sorry, I'm talking about the characters who are talking to you. Not the radio stuff is amazing. It's probably the best
the
radio
stuff
GTA.
is great.
But I'm talking about the like
too
someone.
Much of everybody's cool.
That's what I'm getting
Riders
at.
Republic.
It's now steady, steady.
Yeah, I wouldn't tar it with that brush exactly, but it's a similar thing. You know, I don't. It's
adjacent.
Kissing my ass for the entire time I'm trying to play it down.
There are some of the characters that they feel authentic and they feel good, and there are some of them where you're like, I don't want you pinging on my radio all the time. And I mean, like, it's a nothing thing in the grand scheme of how amazing that video game is. It's nothing. But we're not talking about best game, best visuals, best racing, anything. We're talking about best audio. And whether or not Life is Strange stays in the 5. But like, does Forza?
Music.
Chris Whiteness, you'll be thinking here as well, like that. If you were to pick between Life is Strange and Forza, like I'm going Life is Strange definitely, because Forza's highlighting its audio for me is the sound of the cars and the weather and all that kind of stuff. The music it perfectly sits in, but I don't ever pick a certain radio station that I like or give a shit about all that much. It just fits perfectly fine in there. And as we said, the voice acting and stuff of that is. It's what it is.
If I can just be clear, I hate myself for suggesting Forza gets cut from anything. I really hate myself for being the one to suggest it. But we do have to cut 2 games. And again, not saying that this means, well, Life is Strange definitely makes it.
No.
But is Forza an easy cut when we're talking about best audio?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Can we talk about Psychonauts 2?
Yes.
I think Forza is really just like car noises over music, though. That's what the audio is, though, isn't it? I know, like, it can be really, really authentic car noises, and it can be really good music.
It's just absolutely save some, mate. Christ.
But let's be real. That's what it is. Like, that's what you're.
But when you get that reductive about something, isn't that what all games are? Well, you start out with like, this is the core. It is a driving game. It can't be anything other than a driving game.
So then,
my own argument again. The little noise, the incidental stuff, like finding the mariachi band playing when you're close. It has got incidental touches that you wouldn't expect in a game of its ilk. So if we're not cutting it, fine. We haven't talked about Returnal or Psychonauts.
As well, like when you go off jumps and it kind of changes the whoosh out of the audio and things like that. I love those touches.
Just to be clear, once again, I don't think Forza does anything wrong in any department. It is borderline a perfect video game, I think, in many ways. At what it does. So let's talk Psychonauts 2 and Returnal, because they're the only 2 that have had no discussion. Who wants to start?
Well, it's tough because Psychonauts 2 I love in a lot of ways. I think there's a lot of great audio in it, but I think it could potentially not make this list.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a memorable moment that's audio based, and I'm really. The band level, I guess.
The band level is definitely a highlight. And I think the voice acting in general is pretty great, like top to bottom. But like as a whole package, I just don't think it's not like jumping out as this memorable. It's not. What I would definitely put in a top 5 for me.
And I love that game. But I think that's why it's taken so long to talk about it, because I think I think we know. I don't know. I don't know how Chris Hyde feels. I know you finished it. Adam, I know you finished it.
So I was suggesting it because when we're looking at this 7, I was like, which games do I think make the top 5?
It's still there, sort of thing. If you know what I mean. It's still there.
Yeah, and I honestly think this Psychonauts 2 is a cut from me. And then I want to hear. I guess, do we cut Life is Strange? And that's the 5. But
so hang on. Do we need to? I mean, I think Lyle and I are the biggest.
About Return.
No, we will. We need to. We may as well. But It feels like if Lyle and I are saying cut Psychonauts 2 and we're probably its biggest fans, Chris Hyde said to cut it. Chris White, did you get to play any of it?
I did. I'll be honest, I'm not all for the audio.
Okay. Adam Carroll, it sort of sounds like it's gone, but...
Yeah, I'm the same.
Okay. Well, I feel like we have talked about every game bar Returnal, so we may as well, and then we can work out what our 5 is. So, I do think the Returnal audio is pretty. It's like that spatial audio stuff on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
I think the
Pretty good.
the audio Returnal is just fucking. It's fantastic.
Makes use of that dual sense.
It's the ambience. You know, like I said, it uses the dual sense. It does. I mean, the voice acting. There's not a lot of it because it's mainly just Celine, but there's moments in it. It's little things. It's little noises. It's those bits when you find a house and you go into the house and you've got the heavy breathing and you've got all that stuff that's kind of happening in the background where you're not even sure where it's coming from. You know, it's like leading you towards a door. But do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like it's those moments are close to horror. They're not quite horror because it doesn't really pay out in a horror kind of way, but it changes. Like 1 minute you're outside and you're shooting aliens and you've got all the pew pew noises and that ambient noise of the planet itself, and then you go into the house and it just changes completely, but it doesn't feel out of place.
So,
and then
those pew pew noises are great as well.
So how good Returnal
is. It creates, the sound helps. I mean, the visuals definitely help, but the audio really helps create a brand new, believable, alien world. So
it's amazing.
That sounds like Life is Strange is the cut.
Can I just quickly, before we cut Life is Strange, I just want to confirm with Christopher White. Chris, if you were to pick between Guardians and Life is Strange,
Adam,
what would you be going for?
What,
I know. We had this last.
No, I know what he's going to say, but go on.
I'm just wondering.
Guardians.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I knew how much.
Just wanted to know. That is fine.
I think Life is Strange is gone.
Seems like it.
What a pile of shit.
People are...
No,
I think It Takes Two's number one. There, said it, done. I've said it. You discuss.
I'm not against it.
I think It Takes Two or Returnal have to be number one.
I just think back to like when Chris, you were reviewing it and you and I were playing through it, and then I played through it with Chris. Sounds like I've just repeated myself. Chris Hyde the second time, and Adam Carroll, and I just think of how many times I feel like I'm almost the middle of the Venn diagram, if that makes sense. The Venn diagram, sorry. I haven't even been drinking tonight. I feel like I'm the middle of the Venn diagram where everyone else is connected because we've all played it, and everybody I know has gone, oh yeah, the little audio bits, like when you go through the Hoover and it like goes. But
I think that what you've just said is just indicative of why it should be number one because of a Hoover.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, well, no, not just
no, but that is it for me. Like it's the attention to detail. Like they didn't have to make it sound.
You would
so
not notice
authentic.
it if it wasn't there.
But they do, and it is all these little bits. It's right. It's like the music level. It's the space level. It is the acting between them all, and even the the elephant, the Diablo section.
Well,
careful. Let's not just list the game.
What about No, it's gone. So much of that game there's so much of that game that comes in and it goes back out and like, nope, forgot what I was going to say.
And without spoiling it, audio is the whole basis around the end.
Yeah, that last level is
like that's what it's all about. You end that game listening. It's about the audio.
Someone, was it Mick, mentioned earlier that some of the character voices, like Dr. Hakim. Now, I know, Mick, you're playing through this at the time as we're starting to record, and I don't know how far Lyle's got, but like, if I were to say to Adam, Chris, and Chris, yes, all right, some of the voice work is just fine, but for every one that's just fine, you've got a character like the frogs. And,
oh my God.
Like...
The elephant. Like,
it's only really the human characters...
Yeah.
outside in a cutscene as well, because I think the actual
And even
interactions
then,
between
there
the
are-
two main characters.
There are some moments where they land really well. Those interactions, like there were a few
it's
moments
not
where
bad.
It's
I'd be
mainly
like,
the little girl. It's mainly the little girl.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because they got a little girl or because they got someone to pretend to... I don't know, but there's something about that didn't ever feel quite spot on to me. But for that one thing, the amount this game does right in the audio department is... It's like a game you'd imagine being a AAA game that's been 10 years in the making, because the audio is just so on point.
Yeah.
So
is that number
We've got
one?
number one.
Is that a unanimous
I
vote?
think that's.
I think it's one.
I'd
for me.
agree.
Okay, what's
I-
two then? Or what's five? I don't know. I don't really mind.
So
I
I have an
think
order in my
I
head.
would suggest an order and see
Yeah, I can
what you
suggest
guys think.
Okay, I'll try and do it as you say it.
I would put It Takes Two number one. Then I would put Returnal.
Okay.
Then Deathloop.
Okay, go on, I'm listening. It's fine. Yep.
And then I think I would probably put Guardians of the Galaxy maybe fifth.
Oh,
Because
okay.
as Adam said, it had to be that. Like it's really good. This is a top five, so they're all really good.
My counter to that is anyone who's ever tried to make a playlist for someone, it is not that easy to make a playlist for like Marvel's Guardian of the Galaxy. Even the 80s tracks alone, how do you not leave one out or put the wrong one in? I'm not going to go mad and argue.
I mean, well,
just
that's
for
how
reference,
I
my
put it, I think.
Go on,
my
Chris.
list was 4 and 5 flipped, but everything.
Yeah,
else-
I
My
would
list
be
is
more
this
comfortable.
list.
Okay.
I'm
I'd be more comfortable with Marvel above Forza, but
I haven't played Guardians of the Galaxy either, so I suppose
Fair.
that's totally fine. I wouldn't mind that flipping whatsoever. But
I would have put Deathloop at number 2 personally. I think in ways it can't be underestimated just how unbelievably good Colt and Juliana are in that game, and the voice acting and delivery and the comedic value.
that's for me
It
why
is
Marvel
ridiculous.
should be at 4, because I feel like Deathloop and Guardians should be 3 and 4 and be very close together, because they both do the same thing really well. Like they both go for a style, they both nail the style, the voice acting, the music, everything. The direction is great. That's why those two feel like almost interchangeable for me. Chris White?
I think Guardian should be 3, to be honest, because it's a 20-hour game where the dialogue's constant and the relationship constantly builds throughout, and the acting between all of them is phenomenal. I'm not even talking about the music. When you throw the music into that and how they utilize it in every aspect of the game, but people think Deathloop's better than fair dues, but
Can
I
we
wouldn't.
get a vote then on the 5th place? Because if we just go around the room, so Lyle, what did you say? Sorry.
it's hard. I've not played Guardians of the Galaxy, and
Okay.
so I think I'd kind of bow out of this one if that's all right.
That's fine. Yep. Mick, you've done that. You've already.
Yeah, that's how I would.
Yeah. So that's okay. So Chris, what did you? What did you
Fifth.
say? Yeah.
I'd put Forza 5th.
Okay. Chris Hyde,
Forza.
Adam Carroll.
I would have put Guardians, but I totally do understand.
See, I'm
If it goes
Forza,
up
so
there.
that's 3 Forzas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So do we think generally that's
Yeah,
the
that
consensus
looks
now?
better.
I think that's the consensus of all
I
6.
think so.
I really feel Deathloop and Guardians being that close feels right to me. I think the arguments for Returnal are that. I mean, the believability of that alien world is like that game almost was. The audio and visuals combined are almost oppressive. They almost make you want to not play it because it's like, oh god, this is like.
Yeah.
I think that can't be understated. Shall I lock it?
Do it.
I would like that.
Yeah. Okay. 5th place, Forza Horizon 5, which is perfect, really. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy in 4th. Deathloop is the 3rd best audio of the year. Returnal in 2nd place, and the best audio is It Takes Two. There we have it. So we move on to best visuals then, and I'm just going to go straight into it and spoil it, because last year The Last of Us won this one as well, with Demon's Souls, Paper Mario, The Origami King, Ghost of Tsushima, and Miles Morales, which were 5 very, very good-looking
Good year.
games.
Good year.
26 games need to be cut to 5, and they are Returnal, Guilty Gear Strive, It Takes Two, The Ascent, Resident Evil Village, Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, Little Nightmares 2. No, that's not going to work. Hang on. Oh, bloody hell. Sorry, getting old. Flight Simulator, Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Call of Duty Vanguard, Lost in Random, Backbone, Ashwalkers, Hitman 3, oh, bloody hell, Tales of Arise, Scarlet Nexus, Battlefield 2042, The Artful Escape, Deathloop, Chris Tales, Psychonauts 2, Metroid Dread, Unpacking, and Sable.
Right.
Yep.
We need to get serious here.
This is ridiculous. 26 games.
I need to get
rid of Battlefield straight away.
Get brutal.
Wow.
I think that's fair. I would say Sable.
Okay, I haven't played it.
How many have played it? Like it looks very different to anything else that's come out this year. Very great, very great. Fucking hell, very great visuals.
It's very great.
Good visuals.
That's a box quote.
Very different. Very great visuals. God is a geek. But it's not gonna get in this top 5. Not by a mile. I would say Ashwalkers as well is another game that had very great visuals, but it was different to what I'm used to, like what's kind of come out this year.
Certainly unique.
Backbone, unfortunately, like I love this game. It's fantastic if you haven't played it. It's certainly worth getting on Game Pass because it's out there now. It's like pixelated detective game with animals, anthropomorphic animals, but pretty dark, grim stuff. But like visuals. No, I would say it probably doesn't fit into the top 5. Artful Escape as well.
God, blimey, Chris. Go
Sorry.
for it, mate. No,
Right.
go for it. The only one I haven't removed is Sable. Did you put that on there?
I put that on there.
Oh, well, then fine. Off it goes if you're cutting it.
Wow. Artful Escape, it does audio excellently. It does visuals excellently.
It's a pretty game.
But it's a pretty game, but it is very samey throughout. Like, there's a lot of games on this list that are, like, phenomenal and do a lot of different things and consistently like push the boundaries, but I would say that is another one that I would cut. I'm going to hold off for a little bit.
I was going to say, my God.
But that I'm going in hard.
5 in seconds. That was good.
Well, I did cut Battlefield as well from Mick. Oh, yeah, go on, Mick. Go for it.
Right, this one, you might say, oh, really? But I would probably
I'm not a posh
Ascent.
English gentleman, for the record.
But
Really?
It's hard to say, oh, really?
Chris might, yeah.
I guess my monocle.
I'd probably chop the Ascent because...
Ooh, it's a spicy early one.
Yes, because the skybox, the backgrounds, the world, phenomenal.
It's lush, really nice.
And you know me and cyberpunk,
yeah,
and all that, absolutely amazing. Character models, ugly as fuck. Outfits, ugly. All that other stuff. Everything else in that game that's not a static background.
So you're saying perhaps that the beauty is only skin deep?
Yes.
Or background deep.
Background deep.
Which doesn't really
You don't want to go background deep, do you?
No, and you never go background deep.
No, yeah,
not this early in the deliberations.
And I mean, Flight Simulator.
I think that didn't that come out last year? But didn't that come out last year?
And I guess it looks good on consoles.
It was re-released on Xbox.
Yeah, I
this
don't
year.
think that can be in here.
That
then,
doesn't
can
count, then, does it?
No,
because then you could put Ghost of Tsushima direct.
You could, yeah, you could.
Death Stranding.
So we're agreeing.
So let's not do that. Let's just cut it.
Can I?
We're cutting.
Yes.
We're cutting.
Yes, we are. This is going brilliantly.
Oh, right.
Yes, Chris, do another 5.
Okay, no, I'm not going to do that. That's unfair. Because I feel like we need to give him some due. But Call of Duty Vanguard, my experience was that on the Xbox, it kept stuttering a lot. And I don't know if that's the same as other consoles, but like the visuals kept breaking up for me. And it really pissed me off a bit.
I would be...
I played it on PS5 and it was pretty slick.
I would be disappointed if God is a Geek's best 5 visuals had Call of Duty in it, and that is not a slur on Call of Duty.
Yeah, but you say that, but genuinely, it looks fucking good. Like, you can't dismiss it because it's Call of Duty.
But all of the games on this list look good. Like, I would be so gutted to be like, I'm not.
But like, Call of Duty looks.
We've got 19 games
here.
I
mean, look, I don't think it will make the top 5, but I do agree with Mick to cut it because it's Call of Duty is a bit reductive.
I'm not cutting it because it's Call of Duty. I'm saying cut it because it's doing the same thing it always does. It has billions of dollars thrown at it, and it looks incredible. But
Which is the category that it's in.
No, it's best. No, it's not. It's not best looking. It's best visuals. I want to be clear on that. It's best visuals. It's what's Call of Duty's Vanguard's art style, real life? I mean, do you play games for that? I don't.
I play games because I enjoy playing it.
Well, all right. If you're going to be like that, Mick,
I just want to have
It's a
fun.
good game. It's not,
you're telling me
I
you're
know it's
playing
Call of
games because you
Duty,
like
but it's-
playing games.
it's-
Do you,
look,
are you a
again,
games
it's-
journalist or not? I mean, come on.
If I was
game.
thinking, if
it's-
there was no list and I was thinking of the games off the top of my head for best visuals, Call of Duty wouldn't be one of the first games that come to my mind. So if you're thinking,
I just don't.
I
it's
get
not gonna
what you're
make
saying.
top
It doesn't
five,
do
is it?
anything that is like out there.
It's very good. Look, but every game
I'm
on
not,
this.
I'm not arguing it for it to be top five.
if
I'm
we can
arguing to
do the
not
Father
catch it
Ted
just
thing-
because it's Call of Duty.
If we can do the Father Ted thing again, all these games have lovely bottoms, right? They've all lovely bottoms, and they're all nice, But like, right, fine. I tell you what, I'll cut one that I think's a special looking game that none of you have played. Guilty Gear Strive.
Oh, that looks so good though.
It is a phenomenal looking game, and the
I've
art
not
style
even
and
played
everything.
it, but it looks
none
so
of you have
good.
played it. I'm the only one, and I haven't played enough of it. It is a stunning piece of work. It is a stunning piece of art, but none of you have played it. Like, so it's got to go.
I wasn't saying to keep Call of Duty in the top five. I was saying not.
Sounds
to
like
catch
you wanted
it.
to marry Call of Duty Vanguard.
oh,
Fucked
amazing.
it. So
Right.
I'm done. Now.
Yeah, that's more mixed level.
This is supposed to be a Christmas podcast.
I have a spicy one to call it.
Hang on.
Are we cutting Guilty Gear and
I'm
Call
going
of
to
Duty?
cut Guilty Gear. I
I
haven't
would-
got a problem. Okay.
And Call of Duty.
Oh,
Get rid
okay.
of Vanguard.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Adam Carroll, please continue.
I don't know if this makes top
Oh,
five.
shit, you're not gonna
because
do
I
this.
think it's visuals. I think its protagonist is what looks the best. I think Metroid Dread.
Yeah, you are going to do it. Okay.
Metroid Dread
No, I agree with you, but I'm glad
it's
you
art
did it, not
style.
me.
Its art style is not something. It's not my favorite looking Metroid
I
game.
think it's a wonderful looking game, but it's not a top 5 looking game.
Yeah, I agree with
And
you.
I'm
I
just
think-
glad I didn't suggest it because
No, I don't want to suggest it. Fuck it, I want Metroid everywhere.
no, but
like,
it's not the category for it, is it?
it's not the
No, it
category
isn't
for
the
it.
category
No.
for it.
There's parts in that game in particular where I'm like, this is not what I want. It doesn't in any way interfere with the game.
Yeah,
as
but when
such.
it cuts to 3D and you've got the boss fight and then it swings back to 2D, I like
It's
that a
cool,
lot.
but I don't like the color scheme throughout that game for the most part, if I'm honest. And there's a
That
lot
is
of grey.
a very specific critique.
I was gonna say, I'm trying to think of what you don't like. I'm trying to think of the.
No,
There's a lot of grey and a
it's
lot
browns
of,
and greys with it's got
Yeah.
colour, but it's probably the most
Some of it
brown
looks a
and
bit
grey
washy.
Nintendo game. Yeah, you can see that there's times where they would love to be able to blow it up to full 1080p sort of thing, and they
Yeah,
can't.
yeah. It's just,
I
it's
will
just
say
not
on that
top five.
OLED though, Chris White.
Oh yeah.
Well, look.
Fancy OLED
Wow.
people.
Does look beautiful on the
One beer
OLED.
in.
So am
Can
I
I-
deleting Metroid Dread?
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
I be the misery and say unpacking?
I was going to ask about that
Oh,
because
If
is it?
anything, that looks great.
Yeah, but is it?
It
what
looks
are the
kinda
visuals
like-
See, I think the
Because
thing,
it looks
obviously,
like cutesy bedrooms.
yeah. See, obviously, I put this on the list again.
The box quote.
It's just rattling
Absolutely.
around.
Absolutely
bedroom,
phenomenal work, Fraser. I
I
I'm-
haven't fucked
Such a
this one, so
wordsmith.
I'm
no,
not-
apparently not.
I don't
Yeah.
know
And it's on
unpacking as well
Xbox,
as
so
I
it's
know
free.
Vanguard.
Carry
Yeah.
on, Lyle.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Please.
I put this on the list. I just think it's very, very impressive how they managed to. They've still got like it's obviously an art style. It's not like realistic, but everything, every one of those pixel art items, especially if you are familiar with them, is exactly how you think it will be. Like I was getting out. You go through this whole person's life. I was getting out like. They have a GameCube at one point, so you got to get
Yeah.
out all the discs.
Mm.
Every disc, I'd be like, "That's Mario
I was
Kart."
thinking
That's-
about that. Do you think they had to get approval?
I have
Because
no idea.
like
I
that
wonder
is
because
that is a
it's so
GameCube,
blurred
and the
whether
game.
they-
No, that is a GameCube. I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
you
sorry,
look
I
at that
meant
and
the
go,
games.
that
I
is
thought
a
you meant the
GameCube.
games,
No,
like,
there is a
where they have to-
GameCube, and
Oh no, sorry, I
and-
know there is. I thought you
Is
were
there
talking
an
about the game
N64
covers.
controller, or is it then a GameCube
There's-
controller?
There is a GameCube controller.
And that is like that.
there's
Do you have to
Wiimotes,
get
there's
licensing
Wiimotes as
rights
well,
for that?
and-
Wiimotes, yeah. And there's a
Yeah.
very much a well. They're much saying that they're an iPod, an old-fashioned iPod
yeah,
as well.
there
quite
is.
regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a DVD case. One of the DVDs that never goes is Donnie Darko. I'm not sure why, but you can just
Huh.
you'll always pull Donnie Darko out of the box, and that's interesting. I really,
Best films ever.
That's
I really like.
No, it's not.
I'd sooner cut something like a Chris Tales than an Unpacking at this stage. because no one here
I
has
haven't played
played Chris Tales.
I haven't played Chris Tales.
And it's the same
I don't
reason
think-
that Strive went. I think Lyle's the only one who's played Chris Tales.
Yeah, definitely. I think Chris Tales is gonna go as well. I think it's got a lovely art style. The sort of the whole time mechanic where you see the past on one side of the screen, the future on the other, and the middle is the present. Like it's not only got a beautiful art style, but it's sort of got three like palettes at once as you're walking around. It's really, really impressive. It can't get anywhere on the list if no one else has played it.
Same
it just
reason
can't, but
Strive can't, I think, isn't it?
it's definitely, for me, it's very up there on the visuals, and I just wanted to get its due.
No, that's fair. Same for me with Strive. It's like I've got no chance, but I'm gonna suggest. I'm gonna offer up Halo Infinite as a cut because
It's like Halo, doesn't it?
no, it does that thing. It does
Looks
that
like
thing,
Halo,
and it's how
doesn't it?
you think
It does
Halo
look,
looked. If that makes sense, like that's how you you've played the multiplayer and you know what I'm saying. It's how you think of Halo, how you remember Halo. It looks better. One of the little thoughts I was left with was like, so they delayed this game a year because people were taking the piss out of that Craig thing. What did the rest of this game look like a year ago? Because it looks good now. Don't get me wrong, like the explosions and it's really fast paced and it looks really good. I feel bad for them because people are going to be poring over this game on its world to find the bad texture.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean? They're going to be there going, you spent a year, you might have fixed Craig, but look, this texture's craggy. It's not craggy, it's flat. And it's like, I feel really bad for them because they have built a brilliant game. But we are talking about the best visuals in a year where we've got the first proper year of next-gen hardware. And Halo Infinite looks really nice. But it does look like a game that is available on the old hardware as well. And on PC and everything else. And it does look like that. I played it on Series X, and it looks really great, and it runs really great. Is it the best visuals of the year? And anyone who's played the multiplayer, even who hasn't got round to the single player, can attest to that. It's got a great style, the Halo style, but it is not the best looking game of the year.
No.
I want to get spicy next.
Go
I want to
for it,
offer
mate.
up something spicy. I don't think Resident Evil Village makes this list. I think there are.
What about
If you're going for sort of heavy hitting,
the boobies?
very very good graphics,
Lady Dimitrescu.
I don't think. I think there are 5 games that are above it.
Although the PC mods of Lady Dimitrescu are way better.
I'll bet.
And I haven't even played
I-
Resident Evil Village.
I would never have guessed Mick would be the one to know this.
No, he
This
was
is
our
a shock.
Expert in frontal bounce.
I'm going to put that.
What
I'm
a-
going to get a name badge.
That
with
is
that.
brilliant. Frontal
Expert on
bounce.
frontal bounce.
But let's veer this podcast back towards the
Sorry, I feel like
noughties
I've
and
dragged
less
it
away
through
from
my
the
level
70s. It is Christmas, but there's no need to get too much eggnog down you at this front. At this point. He's not wrong, though, is he? Not about the bounce. I mean, the cutting of Resident Evil Village. He's not wrong. It's a good-looking game. Very good-looking game.
It is a good
I
looking
think,
game.
yeah, I'm kind of with Lyle in a way of that. Like this, we've complimented this engine enough. Like the RE engine is great.
If anything, this should
There
look
is-
better.
No, but it just it doesn't. It's a great looking game, and that's that. But there's nothing that I have not seen. There's nothing more, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I just think when I look at the list, as Lyle was saying,
No, it's
do you know,
doesn't stand out.
doesn't stand out. Like there's some great, like when you come across the castle first time around, wow, looks amazing.
This list is getting really tough already.
But yeah,
It is.
unless someone else is really strongly passionate about
I
Village,
just don't think it can hang with these. I mean, there's 13 other games. There's only one or
Yeah.
two I'd go against it for. Are we cutting Village?
Okay.
I think we
Yeah.
have to for the
I have
purposes
to.
of what else on that list. Yeah.
Can I ask a question of a game I haven't played?
Sure.
I keep seeing it. It keeps turning up on lists, and every time it does, we cut it straight away.
Lost in Random.
Lost in Random. Is that I haven't played it, so I don't know. Are the visuals mind blowing? Because nothing else seems to. Have been mind-blowing
Okay,
about
so
this game.
I would say mind blowing is probably, if that's the benchmark.
It looks like a
probably
Tim
not.
Burton film, and I
Yeah.
don't want to be
And it-
reductive, but
No, but it's in that sense, it's like a
I
bit
have
like
been,
Little
so.
Nightmares too, in the sense of like it's got
I
a
think
very
both
strong
of those go.
style, and it nails the style. I will say it's probably one of the best things.
I'm
about
not
it.
sure Lost in Random quite nails it.
I think.
I don't think
me,
all of the
it's more in
characters
in
feel
the-
like they should exist in that world. Some of them just don't fit for me,
I think.
and that's
I think-
artistic choice.
I think Little Nightmares 2 is more consistent in its world. I think Lost in Random, in the moments where you're in the different areas, it feels very strong.
But does Little Nightmares 2 do an awful lot more visually than Little Nightmares did?
That's what I was going to say. I mean, it's really very
It
similar
It
to.
looks lovely, but it's a known quantity.
It's got a
I think both of those have got to go.
fantastic
Yeah,
aesthetic,
no question. But
series,
both of those.
I don't disagree. I think they were going to struggle. I think they do what they do well, but I think they were going to struggle to make the top 5. I think based on what you just said about Little Nightmares 2, we probably do need to talk about Hitman 3.
So, well, hang on. Before we get to Hitman 3, are we cutting Lost in Random?
Oh, I thought we'd assumed that those were both going.
Okay, sorry. I'll cut that. Oh, and we are cutting Little Nightmares 2. Chris, why?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So we're talking about Hitman now. Hitman 3.
I don't know.
Go on then.
I mean,
Talk
that-
about it.
Brilliant video game, but best
Hitman
visuals?
3, well, not necessarily, but
Ah,
I mean,
come
the-
on,
the
best
designs-
visuals?
No, okay, right, but again, it does that thing where there's so much going on and so much detail, and it's
incredibly
so
detailed.
well made, like that Dartmoor level when you're walking around that entire mission is just things to see. I mean, it's just
Let me rephrase this, right? I'm going to have to speak a bit from personal perspective here. Is it better looking than Returnal? Is it better looking than Kenner? Is it better looking than Forza? Is it a better visual game than Ratchet and Clank? That's just 4.
Well, let's do that with every game then.
Okay.
Is
That's what they
Unpacking
are
a better
doing.
looking game than Kenner, Forza, Ratchet? Is Tales of Arise? Is Scarlet?
I don't
Nexus?
tell. Well, no, probably.
Psychonauts 2? No, let's cut them all then.
Probably not. Okay. We've got all of them. So what's number? Right, so we're just cutting the lot. Okay. Wow.
I think
No
there's an
award this
argument
year.
for Hitman 3 in that level design has to come under visuals, I suggest, surely.
I mean, Unpacking's on
It's
twice.
Is it?
What?
It was on my document.
Definitely isn't.
It
I
was.
just think that
Liar.
Hitman 3 has so much going on, and like the nightclub level where there's just stuff happening. I
Yes.
don't know.
The winery.
I always
Fucking hell.
I always want to explore Hitman levels, and not just because it's a Hitman level.
But that's
because there's
gameplay.
always
That's
stuff-
design. I'm
Is
not
that
sure that's
design
best
or is that
visuals.
visuals? That's what I want to
Visually,
be.
it's incredible. The lighting as well, like especially in the first level on the massive skyscraper in Dubai. There's the train at the end. It's got incredible visuals. I think it's fair to cut it above a load of other games.
Well, let's cut something else then, because
All right.
let's cut something else. Let's cut. I mean, Lyle's there just going, if I say nothing, Unpacking just it'll stay.
just keep quiet.
Yeah.
It's gonna go.
He's
I
so
do
close
want to
to
talk
Sean
about
Lyle.
Tails and Scarlet. I don't want to
I'm
keep
not
grouping them
sure.
in together.
No, but I'm not sure that Tales of Arise is that. Oh, well, I don't know. It's pretty and it's colourful.
It kind of looks
Nothing
like all
moves.
the
You know,
nice
they
looking
just-
JRPGs.
Yeah, nothing really moves. It's just
It's
very,
not.
very pretty pictures. You know what I mean? There's no life in the world.
I like how it looks. It's
There isn't any life in the world. It's a very still place. It's just really pretty.
I can't
It's
rebuttal
gonna make
that. I have genuinely haven't been drinking, but I can't give a rebuttal to that. I don't want to keep grouping Tales of Arise and Scarlet Nexus together
I
because
think
they're both
Scarlet is
JRPGs.
better looking.
I
I
think
don't
Scarlet
think
is
either.
better.
I don't think either
but
make the list.
I don't think either make
Probably
this
not.
list.
I love those two games.
A lot of Tales of Arise is like the landscapes are kind of dull and drab. And
Well,
I mean, like I said,
have you got to the green area yet? Where because that is the first time where I was like,
no, I
okay.
haven't got. I've seen it obviously, but I
there
haven't
is
played
also a
it,
slight
so
issue with Tales in that it's got multiple art styles within the game. So you've got kind of like
Yeah,
the
they-
visual novel cutscenes, you've got the cutscenes, you've got the gameplay and the combat, and all four of those are on the same planet, but
They're
very
closer
different
than they ever
countries.
used to be. They used to be a very older Tales games used to
No,
have
fair.
a much
Really
bigger
good.
disconnect. To
Fair,
them.
but
I know
they
you don't want
are.
to group these two, but I think you can safely. Looking at this list, I mean, I would argue probably against unpacking, but I don't want to because
I'm not. I should say I'm not here like unpacking definitely makes it, but
No, I do understand that Lyle had a good. He made a good argument for it, and I haven't played it, so I can't argue against it. But I don't think Tales of Arise, mate. I think if you were to look at a snapshot of Tales of Arise next to something else, you'd go, "Fuck me, that looks amazing." But when you actually play it, yeah, it is very pretty, and they have done a good job, and it's very, very colourful, and it's very colours
nice.
really stand out. But all that cell shady sort of, but. I don't think it doesn't feel particularly alive. The world doesn't feel particularly real. Do you know what
I don't think that affects the best visuals for that myself.
Well, maybe.
I think you're using that argument to keep Hitman and cut Tales, and I don't be honest with you, I don't think Hitman, Tales, or Scarlet is in the top 5.
I don't think Hitman survives in the top 5 on this list because I'm looking at right now 4 of the games that I put above it. But
yeah,
possibly it does make a but no, I think Tales, Scarlet, I really think you could probably drop.
What say we, Adam Carroll? He's right. He is.
I'd be cutting Tales and Scarlet over Hitman 3, if I'm honest.
Well, that does sound... Well, they're gone then, aren't they? Sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, they're back.
But you can't keep unpacking on this list.
Okay.
Honestly, I really... I don't think unpacking stays.
Okay, so we'll cut Tales, Scarlet, and unpacking.
I'm happy for it. I'm not happy for it to go because it won't go out of my top 5. But I'm not just talking the way it looks level-wise. I'm talking about the visuals in combat. It does so much and manages to balance it all so well and fluidly. And then you've got the layers on top of that when you get like a 3/4 through and it introduces that new combat where I can't even... There's so many of the combat things start with the word brain. I can't even remember what it is now. It's like Brain Field or something where you go into this weird neon light.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then you've got the design of each of the enemies, like the monsters. It's fucking insane.
I mean, Scarlet is the closest I've ever seen to a video game being an anime, like a real...
It's beautiful, but...
Playing an anime, I should have said.
You can't keep unpacking.
Okay, well... Look,
I'm sorry.
Tales of Arise
there are other games on this list that should be cut as well.
Okay.
I'm not saying... Because I'm not picking on unpacking, because it does look amazing.
Yeah, definitely picking on unpacking.
But I was trying to be nice, but yeah, fucking get rid of it.
I'm going to say this. I would sooner keep Scarlet over Hitman.
Same.
Because of what you've just said.
Well, like I said, it's in my top 5 because I think it does so much more with every element of its visual. Scarlet, yeah. Mm. But but there's so many fucking great games. Like there's so many good games left.
Well, I mean, let's go the other end. Are we assuming that Ratchet and Clank's a lock?
Yeah,
I haven't played it, so I can't. But I mean, I've seen it, and it's Ratchet and Clank.
Are we also assuming Returnal is a lock?
I would lock Returnal.
I think so, yeah. It looks so good.
All the fucking big first-party PlayStation games.
Well, they do that very well.
This is the thing, though, right? I'm just going to say this, Ratchet and Clank. I think Ratchet and Clank is one of those. It's one of those obvious locks, right? If I pick Ratchet and Clank over Returnal, I think Returnal looks like a better game. Personally, Ratchet and Clank looks super stuff altogether. But if I'm to go Ratchet and Hitman and put them side by side, I actually think Hitman looks just more fun and more appealing to me in the visual department because it just feels like it's letting me do what I want to do. And like Ratchet is like, there's just loads of things going on. It's like a cartoon. It's like a Saturday morning cartoon in ways. And that is a plus. It definitely is. But it's so obvious. And then I think then like, I know I'm jumping around, but when we're going with unpacking then as well, unpacking is unique in its style. And I haven't even played unpacking.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree that it's unique.
Unpacking, they designed every single item.
No, it's done well, but it's not a unique idea. Like that art style has been done a lot to its detriment almost.
But
like, it does look lovely, but
like I'm just saying, like on the list that's currently standing, I look at that and I kind of go, oh yeah, cool. That seems like definitely worth a shout. Like I'm with you, Chris, with Scarlet. I am. I think it does a lot.
Well, it sounds like Scarlet's a lock.
I would be fine with Scarlet being a lock. I'm
hearing Adam Carroll, both Chris's. I think Mick, you weren't that. I mean, I'm fine with Scarlet.
You were just saying about Tales of Arise, right?
I mean, I'm not that blown away by Scarlet's visuals. Generally, I think it's what moves. Again, what's happening is pretty. What feel like some of the I haven't played that much of it, but looking at it, it just reminded me of similar games.
No, I can't go with you there.
Well, that's just my opinion.
No, but you did admit you haven't played enough of it.
Exactly.
I can't.
I will bow. I wouldn't lock it, but it's not my pick. But...
Well, I've locked Returnal and Ratchet for now.
This is going to get hard.
Well, I'm going to suggest a cut. Adam Carroll, are you with us? Because I just want you to be sure you're sat there, you're ready, because this is going to hurt you.
Because
this
is going to hurt you. You're going to say 8, aren't you?
Deathloop.
Yeah. I kind of would.
Cut Deathloop.
Because it just looks very arcane-y.
It's art. Aesthetic is great. When you get up close to anything in that game, it is a Dishonored Arcane Studios game. It is one, but instead of this big open world that you progress through, there are portions of that game you can travel to. I think Deathloop is a fine-looking game. It's not best. It's not one of the best 5 this year. Yeah, not even close. I don't know. I was going to suggest it earlier, and I should have. It's a really good-looking game, but it's
props to it for what it does, though. Like, sure. I agree.
It's
what
it
does
game.
With how you can affect the way it looks as well by what you do in certain times of the day. You go to it at night; it's completely different to the morning due to what you've done.
But like the characters themselves, the actual people you're shooting, that's like that's the one part of the game where like you've done this before. Quite a few times.
It's kind of Identikitty guards.
It's Bethesda-y, it's Arcane-y, it's Fallout-y. It's like you've done these bad guys before.
I mean, I think
a
it
lot.
Looks excellent.
No,
I think
absolutely.
It looks phenomenal.
And the fact it's still here, but like best 5 of the year, not for me.
But if you've got 2 locks in there and there's only 3 left, there's.
Well, I think we can always unlock things that are locked. Just preemptive locks.
I agree with Deathloop going.
Good looking game.
My tuppence.
But just, I feel like so much of it feels familiar to me. Like there are certain parts of that game where I feel like they could be in Dunwall. Obviously the technology is slightly different, but I feel like they could be, like, this is a futuristic almost version of Dunwall. Like, I feel like they... Sometimes when we do these pods, you feel so fucking reductive about games, and I hate it because it's supposed to be a positive thing, but I feel like you just to look shit, sound shit, and it's made by cunts.
Yeah, you have to kind of critique. You have to say the bad things about it to cut them,
like, because I love Deathloop, but I really don't think it's one of the best 5 looking games this year. Adam Carroll?
I think the response from Mr. Carroll is
I think the argument is. Yeah, I think it is with the arcane thing and the Dishonored kind of style. I get saying when you do get up close, it does seem like you're playing that kind of game. But fuck it, though, there is some cool style in there at times as well. But look, it probably isn't. It isn't maybe top 5, maybe.
Lyle, because you played this quite recently.
On my own personal list, I think it'd maybe hit around 5, but I haven't played a few games on this list to argue as well. And I think, especially with what you've said, I think you've convinced me more than anything else, to be honest. So.
Influence, as they say. Are we cutting Deathloop? It sounds unanimous, actually.
I think so.
Oh, it's so close. 3 need to go.
I think Kena Bridge of Spirits is absolutely fucking stunning. And I know people don't like to use. I know people don't like to use the word.
I was waiting for
when they talk about games.
You went up the hill, and I was waiting for you to fall back down the other side, and you didn't.
No, I think if you're talking about best visuals of this year,
it's a Pixar film in a game.
But it's so good. It's so beautiful.
I'll put it to you this way: if Ratchet and Clank is a lock, I think Kenna has to be a lock for the exact same reason.
I kind of agree.
You can't have one without the other. They are the same. They are that cartoon brought to life.
Yeah, and there's some moments in Kenna when you like some of the vistas and things. I mean, it's an absolutely gorgeous game.
Oh, nice.
Brilliant.
Those little
it's
fellas.
Got some rot.
The rot. For those wondering why.
I've got some rot. Show you mine.
No,
don't get it on camera, Chris. We got to see that.
Yours is grot. Just to be clear.
Sorry.
I don't think so. I think
would
you have to make the
suggest-
decision as a six of us here. We have to make the decision. If Kenner's in, Ratchet and Clank's in, they're both in, and that is two of the top
I
five.
would
Sorry,
lock Kenner. I don't know
think we
about you
can-
guys, but I
this is
think
not best game. It is best visuals. And
Yeah, I think it's one of the most amazing looking games this year. It has its problems, but that's
I mean,
not
it's
one of
made
them.
by a company that have never made a game. They have made CGI movies. That's why it looks that good.
Yeah, but props to them because
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
I think it'll be really interesting, like where they go next, because they've got this aspect. I think absolutely nailed. Like you say,
It's
it's
the
almost like a
gameplay
movie,
that they
then
need to.
how they build on that to,
So we've got 3 locks.
Yeah, I've got a cut.
Go on.
I don't think Psychonauts 2 makes the list.
Hey, I never thought you'd cut that 2 categories one in. I was trying to ignore that.
I know, but I'm looking at that list. To be honest, what's happened with Psychonauts 2, for me personally, is that especially in the last 2 categories, the game that's made me kind of forget about its visuals and its audio is It Takes Two, because I kind of think they do kind of similar, varied, impressive things, but I kind of think It Takes Two does them a little bit better.
Well, can I ask? Can I ask a question then? Like before because I was going to defend this game, but if you're not and the other guys aren't, I'll give it a quick eulogy and we can move on. Because is anyone else happy? Are you all happy to cut Psychonauts 2?
From that list, I am.
yeah. I
just think from the list,
given we
yeah,
have
it's
to
hard.
lose 3, for me it'd probably end up being.
Well,
I'd lose 6, 7, and 8, but that's just
I would lose 6 and 8. Yeah, but hang on, you fought for Hitman.
yeah, but not with what's left. I wanted to keep it in
I think
because
because
it
if
deserves
those
its
3 are
place,
locked,
but
I think you
fair.
have to lose Psychonauts 2. I think.
Before we lose it, I just want to say that I think they delivered on potentially the impossible, which was taking a game that I had played, in fact, this year to replay through it and thinking, one, they need to modernise it, but that's mechanics. They're not talking about that. But they also need to stay true to these characters, which were weird looking and at the time felt weird looking because of the era. There was only so much you could do with the visual fidelity. And not only did they bring them into HD for the first proper time and flush out their personalities with the animations on their faces, I think they went all in on that, but they also, and this is a visual thing, some of the accessibility for this game is the best in class. Like after release, they updated it with I think they called it the accessibility update. I forget, but they added stuff so that like if you were struggling to find collectibles, they added a feature where they added a new filter for it, which it would make collectibles glow. Like the rest of the world would kind of grey out, and the collectibles would glow, so they were easier to find. So just in terms of that sort of accessibility for visuals in what is otherwise a very, very colourful game, like. If you, for example, if you struggle with epilepsy, I would imagine there are parts of this game, like the band stuff, that would be difficult if anyone else had made it, but they put all this stuff in there. That said, this isn't the most accessible video game, it's best visuals. I like the way this game jumps around from, like, you start in a sort of the dentist's mind, because all these people's minds, like ours, are totally unique and are thus within a framework, but artistically very different. The post office worker, that art style, it's in the universe, but it's very different to the band, which is like psychedelia and colourful. And that just carries on. Like the whole game is... all of those levels are these different art styles. Like they are not art styles, perhaps, but different... the game doesn't work if it all looks the same in every... If every level looks the same, it doesn't work. It works because of... and they did it before with that, and I just think... If it's cut, cool, it's cut. But like I think they almost did the impossible and lived up to the original and bettered it, because modernising a classic is not easy. And I think they did massive plaudits for what they've done with that game. I know it took long enough, but it's fine. I'll cut it.
I agree with everything you said, but I just think it is still just a cut. Like
no, it's fine. No, that was a eulogy. I'm totally cool with it. I just wanted to, because I know they technically aren't an indie dev anymore, I guess, because Xbox own them. So I don't know what that means nowadays, but they were, I guess. So to be fair, Xbox generally most of their sort of first party, if that's what this is now, their accessibility is pretty damn good. They are one of the. I mean, they've got that controller. Like they are one of the best. I feel at really saying gaming is for everyone, and that's not to say anyone else isn't, but they really do seem to practice what they preach. And like Forza's got stuff like that as well. Like Forza, I believe, is getting sign language added to it in the bottom corner for the cutscenes, and I feel like that is something that someone at Xbox, whether it's Phil Spencer or not, but someone there is very much saying, no, I'm not going on stage and saying gaming is for everyone. I fucking mean it. And that's cool. But it's got after that impassioned speech, bye.
Speaking of which, right?
That's segue, please.
Here's one that is really fucking obvious, right? We know Forza looks nice, right? It always looks phenomenally good, right? The character models in that game are fucking awful. I know that's not the point of it, but they are. I think it's only good. I think it's only good when you're driving, which is
99% of the time, if not higher. But yes, please.
Does it do anything? Like we said before, like when we said Little Nightmares, and that's a different thing, but we said, does it really do anything different to the last Little Nightmares? Does Forza Horizon...
That was going to be a point I brought up, yeah.
Does it really do anything where you weren't expecting it to just be looking that good? Because Forza, without taking anything away from it...
The weather?
I'm not trying to cause an argument, but
the weather?
Well, but I mean... Battlefield 2042's got some fucking amazing weather effects. You know, is it enough? I'm just asking because the two games I wanted on that list are probably going to end up on.
I've kept very quiet on this game because I feel anything I say, someone's going to say, "Yeah, but you said that's why we should cut Call of Duty."
But again, maybe it is because it is Forza and it always looks phenomenal. Like they're one of the best games visually every year. I mean, it is spectacularly good looking, but is it a safe bet like we've said about some of the other games that we've already cut? I'm just asking, and I haven't really got a dog in the fight because I do think it looks really nice.
Like
I said, two of the
Hitman
games
3 is still on this list, and
the two games that I really, really care about, I think are probably going to make top 5. So I could just throw a grenade in the room and walk out.
You just have done exactly that. You might as well have cut It Takes Two.
It's difficult for me because I haven't played the other Forza Horizon games, so I don't have that frame of reference. So I kind of can't.
They also look amazing.
No,
great.
They always look amazing.
Well, I'm sure they do. I'm not trying to.
And that's
but I just feel. I feel like I get the point around the same logic of Call of Duty and this one, but I also feel like the standard is different. And what you retain as I've played both of those games a lot, and what I retain as an experience as a player of both those games, I appreciate and respect the visuals in Forza Horizon 5 much more frequently than I do in Call of Duty Vanguard.
I have an idea.
So for me, it's the same, but it's not, because I think.
I mean, we are discounting the fact they modelled 500 and... Chris, how many cars did they model? If anyone would know the number.
536.
There you go. 500 and something. They modelled all of them.
What, again? Or from like...
No, there are cars that are new. There are cars that are returning.
Not all 500.
Well, no, but they're not going to be like just pallet swaps like that, are they? There are new cars. There are old cars. There are new old cars. Like
only 80 new car models. 4 out of 10, Mick Fraser.
I'm not saying.
What was the idea? Sorry, you said you had an idea.
I did. My idea was that you could probably, in a way, you could almost lump Forza Horizon 5 and Hitman 3 together in this because they do things that they've done before in general. Generally speaking, Forza always looks good. They always model cars. They always do that stuff. Hitman 3 always has those great big... always has great big immersive... I mean, I think...
Are we assuming It Takes Two's a lock?
I think Returnal, It Takes Two, Kena, Ratchet, Scarlet. They do things those other two games
kind of
on there
what I'm
don't
hearing.
Do.
That's kind of that's the room. It feels like the room. I know Chris is strong on Hitman, but that feels like the room.
Strong on Hitman.
No. I'm much more stronger on Scarlet. because I feel like that is very like Persona is a stylish game because it oozes it in every single element of it. So does Scarlet Nexus. The effort that has gone into making that game look good, look different in every single facet of it is why it deserves to be on this list.
It really sounds like Hitman and Forza are going.
I think so.
For me, that's what I would do. I think, and I mean, I argued for Hitman originally, so I'm not knocking it. But I think compared to those other 5 games that I mentioned, they do. And I know Ratchet and Clank, like Adam said, it's kind of a safe thing, but they do build that anew every time, don't they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
I
not
mean
like
to say it looks like a cartoon is not a negative, is it? Because like it's the thing you dreamt a game could look like. Like it's when you watch the Pixar film and you're like, wow, imagine when they can do that with games. They can. They did.
And I don't feel like Hitman and Forza could very much get away with reusing assets from previous games. They could do that
Forza has to do a whole new world. They have to do a whole new location.
Okay.
It has to, it's Mexico, isn't it? This time it's not sort of Scotland/England.
Okay, but I guess I'm talking maybe engines or so. I don't know, but I think maybe Forza's 6th on this list, but I don't think it.
We need to move forward. We do need to move forward. So the
Hitman
proposal
has got to go, right?
Hitman
Everyone's
3 is gone,
set.
I think.
Yeah.
And the proposal is that Forza 5 joins it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chris Hyde and I don't like it, but Chris, I think that's it.
I really like Scarlet Nexus's style though, so I'm kind of right. I get it. I get it would be 6.
No, it's fine. They're all number 6. They're all number 6. What's wow? Okay, shit. I think Kenner and Ratchet have to go wherever Kenner and Ratchet go. They go next to one another, and it comes down to which we prefer.
Ratchet.
Okay, but I'm saying I think they
down.
stay wherever they are. They're next to one another. I think.
I think they're both gorgeous, right? And there's a lot of money gone into to make Ratchet look good, and it's got PlayStation backing. But it's not just the way it looks; it's what it does as well. Like with the weapons, with the portals, you can see the level ahead of you through the portal, and then you jump through the level, and it transitions so smoothly into a different part of that world. Like it's so well designed in that sense as well. It kind of blends in with the gameplay as well. Whereas Kenner, it's absolutely gorgeous, but you're playing a movie.
The thing I thought
I'm not
Scarlet
sure
Nexus
It Takes Two isn't 4 or 5.
See, I was thinking about this as Chris was talking about the sort of start. I think It Takes Two is better looking than Kenner.
Oh,
I think
they're both cartoons come to life.
Yeah, but I think Kenner has just more of a just.
It looks like a film, but It Takes Two has got think of the characters in that game. Think of the Hoover, the elephant. Think of the not the world because the world. Think of the boss battle, shall we say, against the squirrels, and you're flying as that happens. Think of all those worlds. Each one of those could be its own Pixar. What do they call them when it's not the full movie? Like is it Pixar shorts?
Yeah.
Each one of them could be a Pixar short. I think it's
also
better looking than
how
Kenner.
it's made every gameplay idea look different as well.
Yeah, there's so much work on it. Not that Kenner hasn't, but I think It Takes Two is better looking than Kenner.
It Takes Two because of its visuals is the number 1 game that made me laugh out loud.
Yeah,
because of its facial animations. I mean, the way he runs with his arms.
I forgot about that.
It's fucking,
even down to the design
so
of their hair and stuff. Like,
he's
got the leaf, hasn't she? And she's got the woolly hair.
There's all the emotion comes across. It's incredible. Like for me, I'm just going to say straight off that I think It Takes Two is my number 1 personally, but I'd also be happy with Returnal. I think Returnal is just
I would be with you personally. Yeah, I would. It's the closest. It's the best non-aliens film world.
Oh, it's ridiculous looking.
Do you know what I mean? It's if you didn't know the universe of Alien, Ridley Scott's Aliens thing existed.
Yeah.
This is what he would come up with.
I think 1 and 5 are pretty good. I think it's what's in between needs.
The only thing I'd say about Returnal, and I don't know how far we want to take this into consideration, is the difficulty of it means that there's a lot of that people just didn't see.
Yeah, I've seen barely any of Returnal because
this is what I'm saying. I was going to ask you. So I have, and I know Mick has because he finished it. Has anyone here seen the second biome?
No.
I bounced off it,
yeah.
so don't talk to me about it.
But see,
It's a deserty red place.
Stupid fucking game.
I think personally that topic of conversation is when Game of the Year comes.
Okay, no, that's why I'm asking now, because I don't know.
But in the visual department, for what I got to play,
What
and
you
what
did
I did
see.
I was floored. I was
The enemy
like,
design and all that stuff in that game is it's pucker. It's really good.
Yeah.
But It Takes Two is just a
So let me ask you this question then. So, because I didn't fight for It Takes Two, because I actually thought for some reason I'll be the only one thinking it is one of the better looking games. As I've put that on the sheet now, which again the listeners and viewers can't see, what did we feel about that?
That gets my vote.
Okay, no, I won't change anything then. I was going to change number 5 then, but I'm not going to do it.
By all means. I mean, I'm not.
No,
for me,
because I don't
Scarlet
think
Nexus is the bottom of that particular list, even though it's a good-looking game.
See, it's one of those moments where I'm trying to sort of remember that I'm hosting and having a vote, if that makes sense, because I'm looking at it going, I really like Scarlet Nexus, but then remembering, hang on, we kind of only just got it in the top 5 at one point. What would anyone change about what they see right now? And I appreciate this is frustrating if you're listening or watching and can't see what we're looking at.
I know, like, I've go on about it, but like, I would move Scarlet to 4 because I know it's a beautiful game, but it's just one style. And I don't want to sound harsh.
It's not the busiest world either.
But it is. Like they've done an amazing job with being like the first game.
Absolutely.
As well. Like their work on there, like they did that Majora's Mask film, like that short film, and like very similar to that and how good it looks. But I just think Scarlet Nexus does so much more with its visuals.
So how would we feel about the list now?
I would be happy either way around. I can see merits with both, so I wouldn't argue for either. I'd be happy with that list.
The thing about Kenna is I never finished it, and the visuals are amazing, but they weren't enough to drag me back to keep going with it. I will finish that game because I don't think it's that long.
No, it isn't.
No, it's not. No.
It's a very, very
Final boss
pretty
is really good
world.
as well.
It's what?
Final boss is really good as well. So
Is that sarcasm?
No.
Oh, you really mean
like
it? Sorry, I
boss.
thought you were saying it was. I thought right, okay.
No, I like the final. The bosses in Kenna are pretty good actually. I think
they're all right. Yeah.
I as long as Returnal's number 1, I'm happy. To be honest.
Well, there you go. You've said it. You've said it.
That was my.
I think It Takes Two is an amazing looking game, but Returnal are really. They're 2 indie studios essentially, and like. I just keep thinking of the particle effects. Do you, like when you know in Returnal when you get on a lift and you sort of wisp away to the next bit, like the particle effects and lighting in
just
Returnal.
those plants, those neon plants in the dark. Oh, it's just
Returnal has that effect that like if you never knew what that game was and you just saw like a snippet or a photo, you'd ask what it is.
Yeah, you walk through the room, you'd be like, "What's that?" Yeah,
what's that on?
Are we?
It just looks so cool.
Are we there? I think we're there.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
So.
In 5th
Chris
place,
is happy where Scarlet is. I'm happy.
I mean, I was
can't
actually
believe it
going
got
to
to where it
suggest
is.
it went to 3rd, but I'm not going to now because we've done it. We've finished. 5th place, Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. 4th place, Scarlet Nexus. In 3rd place, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart. 2nd place, It Takes Two. And the best visuals of 2021 go to Returnal. And that is day 2 in the books. And day 3 is very soon. Guess what? It's the next one. So it's day 3 because it comes after. You got it. And that is going to be Best Multiplayer and Best New Character. And then after that, just to forewarn you, when we get to day 4, it's when the story spoilers really start to come out. There might be a few for Best New Character, but they really come out on day 4. So, yeah. Thank you very much to Chris, Adam, Mick and Lyle, and everyone else. We really appreciate your support. Share these podcasts. These take a lot of work, a lot of effort, and we do it because we love it, and everyone else seems to as well. But we will speak to you tomorrow, hopefully, or, whenever you choose to listen. It's busy, isn't it? It's Christmas. See you later. Bye-bye.